Christ is risen.
Truly he's risen.
Truly.
Truly. Yes. Well, look, before I invite you to reflect a bit on the beautiful readings of the Sixth Sunday of the Paschal season, the last Sunday of the Paschal season before Ascension, I want us to go through something quickly, but in an intuitive manner. Now, have you seen that from the night of Pascha on the Holy Table, there's this piece of cloth? So, forget about this. Come close and look. Do you remember when did you see this for the first time in the liturgical year? Any clue? It was a procession. We were carrying it. Unfortunately, we were doing online, so you could see, but you couldn't touch, so to speak.
It's when the Lord was being in tombs.
Yeah, so Holy Friday. Yeah, Holy Friday. This is called, does anyone know? Epitaphion, that's the Greek word, which means a piece of cloth that is placed on the tomb. I don't know, have you seen in some more traditional societies that when the burial is finished, they put some, I don't know, carpets or something, you know, nice on they cover the Americans with the flag.
Yes.
Yeah, they put a flag on the tomb or on the casket or something. Well, this is it, that's epitaphion. Yeah, but instead of epitaphion, that's a composite word, epi, on, or two words. Taphos in Greek means tomb. Epitaphion, what is placed on the tomb. Yeah, okay, so this is the piece of cloth put on the, well, metaphorically, of course, placed on the tomb of the Lord. It represents what? Come closer and look. What does it represent? What does it show?
Well, you can see Jesus. Okay.
Well, they're getting ready to bury him. They're anointing him. They're putting spices on him, I guess, and
Yes. Yeah.
ready to wrap him.
Yes. So can you interpret the whole thing? The boys are dead
Still
tired.
sleeping.
Yes. Okay.
It looks like Joseph of Arimathea.
Yes. Yeah. Who anointed him? Yeah.
Theotokos.
Yes. We don't know from the Gospels whether or not she was present there. We know that she was at the crucifixion, but could she bear going to the tomb?
Okay.
Maybe. Whatever. Okay. And who else?
So the three women who went
Mary
to
Magdalene, Mary mother of Joseph, and Joanna. Okay.
Yep.
And
St. John.
St.
yes,
John.
St. John, the only apostle that dared to
Yes.
accompany the Lord to the cross.
This is interesting. Who's preparing this?
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
maybe one of the underlings of Joseph of Arimathea, you know, preparing the tomb there.
And I guess
And then,
Look, yeah. Well,
okay.
these are the evangelists
Yeah,
showing that we know of the events given the testimonies of the evangelists.
okay.
Yeah. So the four evangelists. Yeah. Well, of course, this is the inscription is in Romanian. If you go to another church, a church of other whatever background, cultural background, you'll find the same inscriptions in their respective languages. Yeah. This is in Romanian. It means being the descent into the tomb, being laid down in the tomb. Yeah. And this is the story of the laying in the tomb. Which is a hymn that we actually say in the night of Easter. Yeah, Joseph having a good piety or something like that, you know, takes Christ from the cross or Christ's body from the cross and puts him in a tomb somewhere. Okay, so this is it. Thank you for your help. By the way, this smaller piece of cloth that we have together with us all through the year, without this we cannot perform the Eucharist, at least not in moments that are not considered exceptions or exceptional. Yeah, this piece of cloth has the same kind of painting on it. Yeah. Only it bears the signature of the bishop, in our case, Bishop Mihail, which shows that everything that we do, even at this little parish, little setting, is in communion with the bishop and all the churches that pray together with him. And when he celebrates the Divine Liturgy, he mentions other bishops with whom he is in communion. And so there you go, you have this chain of fellowship, of communion. Hopefully this will translate in life one day, because as you know, the Orthodox don't love much these days one another. Okay. Question. Why do we have this icon of the entombment, the burial of the Lord, accompanying us from Holy Friday, well, that makes sense, Holy Friday, to the Ascension. So from this Sunday on, we won't be seeing it again until next year, God willing. Why? Why do you reckon during this glorious season of the resurrection, the Paschal season, we still have this piece of cloth reminding us of God's death?
Well, he was with us for all this. He came back and he was with the disciples
40
for all
days.
this time.
Yeah, and we do the 40 days now. So
Yes.
with the Ascension, we end the 40 days
Yes.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah, and so in a way we sing and we worship the fact that he trampled death. So maybe
Okay, so yeah, that's good. But wouldn't this icon be sufficient?
that icon is with us all the time, which means Jesus is with us all the time. We're with
So
Jesus
why do we need another memento?
I guess that the trampling of death is more strongly indicated by the fact that he's in the tomb and he's conquered that specifically.
So that we never forget that the victory we celebrate these days was paid with a price,
Right.
paid for with a price. And that's the price. The humility of the Son of God, the humility of God, the creator of the universe, who, upon becoming one of us, a human being, the Son of Man, as we hear in the Gospel today, the Son of Man, one of us, had paid the price for the life of the world, and this is the price, his own life for the life of the world, so that we never forget, even in times of joy, 40 days with the risen Lord, times of celebration, the bridegroom is with us, and so on and so forth, where we receive the highest teachings of the New Testament, that remain unsaid in the New Testament. But we have to learn to decipher them all through this Paschal season, that we should always remember that all this was possible because of that. And this is the embodiment of the only commandment of the New Testament, which I told you is not love God and love your neighbor. That's a summary of the Old Testament. The only commandment of the New Testament, which is found only in John, in the Gospel of John, and in the first letter of John, is
to love others as Jesus loved us.
love one another the way I have loved you, says Jesus at the mystical supper, or the Last Supper. And St. John, the apostle of love, who was with them at the tomb, reminds us in his first letter that there's no other commandment. And whoever says that they love God, but they don't love their neighbor, they don't love God. Wow. That's a shift of focus towards the neighbor. So that Christians cannot say they do stuff out of religious, insight or feeling or something like that, if what they do doesn't build and support the life of the neighbor. Okay. Now let's see what's the lesson of these beautiful passages for the final Sunday of Easter. So we had from the book of Acts events happening in in Macedonia, northern Greece, in the city of Philippi, whatever you want to pronounce. Who's there? What apostles are visiting that city?
Paul and Silas.
Paul and Silas, yeah.
Traveling around.
Yeah, and at some point, perhaps you notice that in the beginning of the passage, there's a we did this, we did that. So the writer is there with them. And who's the writer of the book of Acts? Japhna, as I'm certain. The writer of the book of Acts? Come on, in your lectures in the scriptures, you haven't heard yet? Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to wake you up. Who's the writer?
Saint Luke.
Saint Luke, yeah. So the apostle who also wrote the third gospel, yeah, Saint Luke. So we were there, he says. He was there with Saint Paul and Saint Silas. Okay, what happens? What are the events? How do the events unfold according to the story?
So they, so for the slave girl who's got this gift,
Which is a demonic gift.
Demonic gift.
Still a gift nonetheless.
Yes, that's right. He's using the gift for her masters to generate wealth for her masters.
Okay.
Paul and Silas see that and demand that the demon leave her. And then because of that, she loses her gift and the masters lose their source of revenue. They're upset. They take Paul and Silas to task and they're punished for it. They're in jail. They're saved through the Lord. And the jailkeeper is expecting to kill himself because he thinks he's the reason for it. They call out, say, don't kill yourself. And it was a great epiphany that the jailkeeper saw, saying that this is unbelievable. This power is so great, I want to be part of this power. Tell
Yeah,
me what I
because
have to
you know
do.
the power of prayer. Actually, they prayed at night, and their bonds were released.
Yes.
In prison. Yeah.
Yes.
And
And so he converted. He asked, what can I do to become like you? And they said, believe in our Christ, Lord.
and
And-
it's important.
and-
So it's
and,
important.
and all you have to do is believe, they said. And,
And
he did.
And oh, come on, the crux of the story. One of those things with you tell very well the story, but then you don't know the conclusion.
Well, I was just stuck with the fact that he converted based on
But what
his
does that mean?
experience.
So, look again at the
So
conversion thing. What happened actually? So he converted. He started to believe. Yeah. He received instruction at home because he invited the apostles over.
Yeah.
And during that night, so all through the night, it's like one of those early Christian liturgies. All through the night, they listened to the apostles preaching, and
Well, they received baptism. Right?
they received baptism. Why have they received baptism? Because they all believed. They all believed. Yeah. So it's not just the jailer. So everyone, see, the conversion of one causes the conversion of many. This is why it's so important for us to be committed. This is why the Lord says in the Sermon on the Mountain to be the salt of the world and the light of the world, and that there's no city built on the top of a hill that can be hidden from our eyes. So we see, so that people see. It's not a matter of showing off. It's not that, Pharisaic religion. No, but it's a matter of living according to the gospel, being truthful to the gospel, so that people see that we embody that commandment we talked about earlier. Love one another the way I have loved you. That's how we are the salt and the light of the world. Okay, and the jailer became the light of the world, became the salt of the world. Giving taste, salt of the world, giving taste to the food, and bringing light and purpose to others through his conversion. And his conversion caused the conversion of his family, whatever other, include perhaps the slaves, because this is antiquity. Maybe they had slaves, And we know from the very first days of Christianity that Christianity was a social movement that did not exclude anybody, rich or poor, master or slave, Jew or Gentile, man or woman, young or old. No one was excluded. Yeah? This is the power of one's conversion, giving an example of life to others so that they follow suit. And the miracle is, it's like the snowball or sandball effect, Jack. The snowball effect, where we make this tiny bit of whatever, a ball of snow, and it rolls downhill and becomes a huge thing, sometimes an avalanche. In this case, the avalanche changes life without killing lives or taking lives. It's not like in Russia and Ukraine. Yeah? The snowball there is deadly. Yeah? We have a snowball of life and light and purpose and value. The second passage from the Gospel according to St.
Okay, just a question. So there's one thing leads to the other. Belief leads to baptism. But is there anything that leads to belief, that precurses belief?
Good question. And what do you reckon this passage tells about it?
It's a form of grace that he actually saw the power of Jesus. He experienced it.
Through
came
Paul.
to him.
Yeah. You mean through Paul? You mean the apostolic passage or the gospel passage?
The apostolic passage.
Okay. So what did the jailer see?
Saw that thing, a surprise that doesn't make sense, that they broke free.
It's the earthquake, that frees the disciples from prison, from their bonds, whatever. The fact that no one left. It's like one of those moments. That's strange. Prison Break, all those movies, or shows or something like that. Everyone, when whatever the lights go off or whatever happens, and they can break out, they break out. No one stays there. In this case, no one left.
Yes.
Why? Maybe it's because the grace of God touched many hearts.
Yeah.
Maybe they were too busy crying, repenting for whatever they had done before, so that they got into that jail. No one left.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? This is a strange story, and there are so many details. Of course, we can spend weeks only on this one.
But I guess it's a form of grace.
But this is what, a moment of grace, and the jailer seized the moment.
Yes.
He woke up. Imagine, recapitulate. We go through all we discussed with the need for waking up. First Sunday, second Sunday of the Paschal season. The need to see the light, the need to wake up. And when you see things, you realize, wow, it was already there. I haven't been aware of it. It was there. Now I am aware. Now I can see, and now I can change. It's a matter of seizing the moment, not wasting the moment. Yeah? Okay. Great point. Of course, there's much more there, why no one else, maybe others did. We know that. The jailer's family did. But why the city council? Why the people in the marketplace? Why the masters of the slave girl did not see the same power, did not seize the moment? Which means if we don't wake up, many moments of grace are wasted. And this is why, if you remember what we keep saying about the Eucharistic prayer of the liturgy of St. John, as in the liturgy that we do today, there's that line, we thank you for things known and unknown. So many moments of grace that we miss.
I like also
Yes, Keith?
this with the jailer, how you see the change in him straight away. So after he has that moment of awakening, I'm thinking like in its practice, this is after midnight, this is like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then he goes and says, okay, now let's wash Paul and Silas's wounds, let's prepare a meal for them. Like, what a loving act of generosity. And it's like, as I said, this is probably possibly 2:30 in the morning by now. Like, his lifestyle is already changing. He's not thinking about going back to bed and just getting ready for the next day. he's acting on it straight away.
Yeah.
Which caught me as well. So it just causes that change and start to behave differently.
And there's joy. With the change comes joy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the fullness of life. It's not just I believe. Wow, something strange occurred, and now I'm a believer. No, changes happen, and they bring joy. They bring liberation, freedom. Because what he says, what must I do to be saved? You know what that means, to be saved? To be freed, to become whole, to be healed, to become whole, to seize the fullness of life.
It's
Okay.
very, very profound.
It is.
It's you can understand it, but to really understand it, it's really very, very deep. It's
And it's like the story of Thomas of the Second Paschal Sunday, going from missing the point, because he missed the first appointment, the first meeting with Christ. He was the only one that wasn't there, and he could not believe. It's like the citizens of Philippi and the masters of the slave girl and so on and so forth, who missed the whole point. Yeah, but then he saw and he began his journey of transformation, like the jailer. But in the case of the jailer, it's an honest moment of change, of transformation, and light shines all through the last bits of the story.
I guess the jailer was very lucky in that what he experienced was startling. It was right in his face. He couldn't not understand how gracious the whole thing was, how unreasonably brilliant it was.
But I believe, yeah, you're right, Peter, but I believe that there's something that the story doesn't say, but we should understand it. That he was on the path, he was a seeker. Look, how many times, something positive, good happens to you, and you aren't ready for it. You don't know it. You can't understand its significance, and you miss the point. You miss the appointment. Why? Because you aren't attuned to it. You aren't compatible with that moment of grace or that gift or whatever encounter. You aren't ready. So if this man sees the day, is because he was waiting for the day.
Wow.
It's like the story of Israel, but this is a Gentile person, a pagan. Israel was supposed to be ready for the day, and not the entire Israel was ready for the day. Again, all the opportunities in the world are given to you, but you have to do something about that. All the prophets and all the miracles and all the commandments and all that, they were supposed to prepare Israel for the day of the Lord. And when the Lord came and he was shown to them and to the world by St. John the Baptist at the River Jordan, they didn't see. Oh, they saw, but they after applauding him, acclaiming him, they put him on the cross. Okay. The other story, John. Briefly.
The blind man could see.
The blind man can see. A man blind born. Born blind. Yeah. Because there are stories of blind people healed, but this one is born blind. He never saw the light of the day. However, I believe that there's a lot of symmetry between this story and the one of the jailer. This one waited for the day too. And when the day came and he saw physically, it was just a matter of sealing a process that started inwardly long before that. Look at what he says to the Pharisees. Are those words of an immature person, someone who isn't ready, who isn't up for the task? That dialogue says heaps about this man. He was ready. Yeah, he was ready. And there's so much certainty, there's so much clarity in his statements, in his replies to the Pharisees. he even becomes an apologist and he mocks them, you know. There's subtle irony and then there's mockery. Really, you want to become his disciples? This is why you keep asking me why and how and who. And from the beginning, he knows who healed him. While the guy at the pool, the paralytic, he didn't know. He didn't even know who healed him. Yeah, remember? Yeah, a couple of Sundays ago. He didn't even know who healed him. This one does. He was prepared. Yeah? There's this process, internal process that prepared him for the light of the day. And he saw the light before he was healed. By the way, there's a very interesting detail that not many people look at. It's in the beginning of the story. Where does Jesus send the blind man to get washed after he puts mud on his eyes?
In the pool of Siloam.
Siloam?
Siloam.
Which
means sent.
Sent. What's the word in Greek for sent? Well, you have it in all the languages, including English. Apostle. Apostle means sent. Apostle means sent. Someone who is sent to perform a task, to bring good news. Yeah. So there's a lot of symbolism here.
Yeah.
Jesus knows the heart of this man the way Paul perhaps knew the heart of the jailer. Jesus knows the heart of this man, that he was ready, that he was seeking the light, that he was seeking the path of life and truth and goodness and so on. Yeah. And Jesus sends him symbolically to Siloam. Sent. He's sent. He's an apostle. He's supposed to become an apostle because he already knows the truth. He's already free. And then the fact that he's healed physically just gives him more opportunities to be what he was, an apostle, you know. And look at the maturity and the firmness and the courage and the clarity of his responses. He knows very well he was converted long before the miracle. This is why I think my tendency is to belittle miracles. But it's because I think they are just signs. They aren't the thing. They are just pointers to the thing. The actual thing is what happens inside, inwards, without awakening. These are just, you know, nudges to wake us up when Jack is falling asleep again during the liturgy. Okay. Do these two passages connect?
Yes. As they always do. As the two readings
Okay,
always do.
yeah. Well, that's what I told you. But now we have an opportunity to test it and check whether my way of interpreting makes sense.
Well, the one thing that both have in common is that both people that were changed through Christ were already in the process, already being transitioned, wanting to become closer to Christ.
And that's the key of the entire Paschal season. The inner processes that lead us there. Like William, for instance. William is already there. Have you noticed his silence? That shows that he is already conquered by the light. And when you're conquered by the light, you don't need words. You just are there. Okay. Well, let's leave it here. Dots, 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 dots. Of course, it's a never-ending story, but look at how beautiful, how deep, how moving the story can be. And let's proceed with our journey further.